What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout and the Punk Rock Review. I don't really know where I'm going to post this yet. I kind of only do things on the Punk Rock Review at this point, and this is very punk rock. It's a DIY horror movie that insisted on being unrated and infiltrating, your cinemas. And we got a lot to talk about today. So, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Hanging out with Kennah. It's been a while since we've talked. This took a little bit of planning. We used to be coworkers. Past tense, unfortunately. But yeah, man. So we're going to talk about Terrifier 3 and just all things Art the Clown. Welcome to our little chat. Hope everybody's doing good. Kennah, how's your day going? How's your week been going?
It's good. It's been a crazy week because Halloween's coming up.
Yeah.
But I saw this movie last night, so it's fresh on my mind.
Yeah,
I got lots to say about it.
Dude, I took Bricken to see it, and we went and watched the double feature, and then we watched it again the next day at noon with my buddy Chris. We're gonna talk about. Okay, it's like my favorite Terrifier movie. I think I can't imagine that one's better. At least in my opinion. We're gonna review the movie. We're gonna talk about some plot points. You said you had some stuff like speculative things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're going to probably talk for a good few minutes here. So just sit down, get comfortable. And if you're a fan of Art the Clown, you should be pretty interested in what we're saying here. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll answer them like in the comments. But if you have something like super cool, I'll pin it at the top and we'll get people to talk about it. But this is meant for conversation, not just to sit here and listen to us talk about it. So and if you have any requests or anything for us to watch and talk about, we're going to still try to do this regularly, I think. So let us know. Otherwise, so I'm gonna let you go first because I've already kind of talked about it. I did a very, very spoiler-free, vague talk about it, so I got plenty to say too. But I haven't really heard from you much lately, and it'd be nice to switch it up a little bit, let you have the floor for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So starting out with my review, on Letterboxd, I gave it 4.5 out of 5, plus a little heart because it's one of my favorites of the year. There's like a few things I didn't love, but it was like small things. I really appreciate the practical effects as always. They're really, I don't know, they're just really fun to watch. Maybe I'm desensitized to it. I just was like having fun watching like how they made it, I guess.
I'm definitely desensitized
how they made it. Huh?
I'm definitely desensitized to it for sure.
Because I wasn't even flinching at anything that happened on screen.
There was a couple of things, we'll get to it in a little bit, but there's a couple of things that I didn't flinch, but I was like, that's disgusting. But like,
yeah, I can imagine if that's the scene you're talking
about. Definitely that. I was laughing at that though. That was
I guess there is one that I kind of flinched at, and it was actually one of the things that I didn't really love, which was I guess we can get into spoilers now.
Yeah. Hold on. If you're watching this and you don't want spoilers and you didn't hear me earlier, right now it's your time to leave because we're going to talk about this movie in detail, plot points, kills, what we did and didn't like about it. So you're going to hear a lot about this movie. So if you don't want that, I don't want to upset anybody. So go ahead and head on out of here now and then come back whenever you've seen the movie, I guess. But yeah, I don't want to upset anybody. So last warning, we are talking spoilers now.
Yes. When Victoria, like...
I love that shit. That was awesome.
What, like with the glass shard?
Yeah, because it was so unexpected. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, okay, I don't know if I needed that personally, but that was like one of the things I didn't love just because I'm like, I'm not sure what that added. Like, we already know she's a morbid person these days.
Well, if you're going to go that direction, though, and be like, I don't know what that added, none of the shit he does adds anything to anything, really. We don't understand any of the story. It's literally there for like shock value. That's what most of what it is, though. But like most of the movie is there for that. And I think it's like I personally think it shows you a connection with them, that she's like obsessed with him. But if you know a lot about like the lore behind this stuff, he's controlling her the whole time. So like the stuff that she says, that's him talking, not her. The stuff that she's doing, that's him making her do it.
Yeah, at the beginning, or I don't know, it was towards the beginning, like where it left off at the post-credit scene of Terrifier 2, like back in the hospital. You could like hear her say, "Help me," and I do believe that was her. before he like took over again and like, you know, was just making her crazy and everything.
Wait, the part where like, help me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think that was her at all. I think that
There
was
was one
all
that was
a
like
troll.
there was one that sounded really convincing, but it might have just been her being fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah, what I got from that was that she was just trying to convince that person to get close enough to grab
Oh,
onto
okay.
her. I don't think she was trying to get help.
That's
I think
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. I watched a lot of reviews on this, and I think a lot of people misunderstood a lot of stuff from this movie. I've watched all these
Yeah.
movies like a lot, and I saw this one twice already. So I don't know if maybe I'm misunderstanding some stuff, and that is very possible. I'm not going to
I
claim that
think
I'm
a
not,
lot of
but
it,
man,
yeah, a lot of it I think is open to interpretation just by having watched interviews with the director and like the behind the scenes videos that they make. He wants a lot of it to remain a mystery. And so I think he knows, like the director obviously knows what all the answers are, but I think it's supposed to be a little open-ended.
well, I mean, just Art the Clown himself is open-ended. He
Yeah.
doesn't talk. You don't really know much about his history, and I don't think they want us to know. Like the one thing that ruined Michael Myers was when we got the Rob Zombie movies and we learned about his backstory and why is the
Yeah.
whole thing that was scary was like, what the hell? Why is this guy doing this? I don't know. Well, why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And it's just like, yeah, that is pretty scary, actually.
I do think that we got the tiniest little hint of his backstory in this one, but I won't go into that just yet. By the way, that one scene where they're in the hospital and like Art the Clown's head is like feeding on that one nurse. I thought that looked so cool. Like it was just
It
really
was like sending it through like an umbilical cord, and she was
Yeah.
sucking it out. It was like almost like human centipede-esque.
Yeah. And I really hope they do something with that at Universal Studios or something. Like I don't know. Like
No chance. Zero possibility
it'd
on
just
that
be
one.
so cool. Like because that just reminded me of something you'd see in one of the houses.
You walk into a big Art the Clown mouth, and then it like grabs you and shoots you through this tube, and you go into some big giant Vicky head. I mean, that would be fun. But yeah, there's no, they're not gonna do anything with this. Well, I mean, first off, Universal doesn't have the right to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Like the actual legal right, because this is all still Damien's, which I think is my favorite part of
Really
all
good.
of this is that he's
Yeah,
done all
that's
this.
actually in my that's in my fun facts later. The
Yeah,
fact
well,
that
then
he
we'll
did
talk about it more in a little bit then. But well, so
that'd be my
okay,
dream though.
do what?
That'd be my dream though to have like a Horror Nights house made from the Terrifier movies, but I know it's never gonna happen.
I don't want that. I'm already irritated that it's as big as it is. I'm very happy for them, but this is something that I've been a fan of since 2017 when it very first got like brought to the light. And so like for years it was like my thing that I liked and nobody else even knew about it. And then it got a little bit bigger and I was like, that's cool, man. And then it got a little bit bigger and I was like, all right. And then Terrifier 2 came out and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And now it's like everybody is telling me, oh, dude, I've been a fan for like 10 years almost and blah, blah. It's like, dude, like I've got evidence of the fact when I started watching this movie. You can look back on my channel and see dates I was talking about it. So like, I'm not, and it doesn't give me any kind of, I don't get any kind of like cred or anything from that. It just used to be something that was mine. It's just like punk bands and, you know, oh, you know, this little punk band, all of a sudden this giant band, you're like, dude, that's, you know, but it's real stupid. I'm very understanding that it's dumb, but like, you know, I don't want there to be rides. I'm really done with Walmart having Terrifier stuff. That's so fucking stupid. But on the flip side of that coin, I'm happy for Damien and David.
How do you feel about the animatronics?
What, like Spirit Halloween?
Yeah.
Or like in the movie?
Spirit Halloween, like their license.
I mean, Spirit Halloween is what it is, man. I it's still a lesser known property as far as like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th. So it's just simply not going to get the same attention that those get yet, at least right now. Maybe after this it might, but you know, I do want to reiterate that I'm incredibly happy for Damien. And if I could say, what would you choose? Everybody in the world knows about this and they become billionaires out of their own hard work, or nobody knows about it but you, and then you get to have this little secret. No, dude, let them let it. I don't care about me that much. I'm just not that selfish of a person. But I do have this like sour taste in my mouth where I'm like, fucking, you know, it's okay though. I mean, it is what it is. I think people feel like that more than they're willing to admit. I don't care. I'm willing to admit it. I don't give a shit. I'm immature about it. It used to be my thing, and it's not anymore, and it kind of sucks a little bit. But this movie wouldn't have been able to get made the way it was made had it not done what it did, and for that reason, I'm incredibly excited. it's very bittersweet. It is what it is.
I think that for me, like I haven't known about it for 10 years, or like almost 10 years for like as you have, but I think I've known about it for at least 4 or 5 because I remember having to wait a few years for Terrifier 2 to come out, and I was like anticipating that. So like I think before, like a few years before Terrifier 2 came out, it was still pretty like unknown, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, so like I get it. Like I haven't had as much of an attachment as you have to it, but like I still felt like so strongly about it. Even to the point where I actually reached out to Phil Falcone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were like messaging on Instagram for a little bit because I wanted to like be a PA on Terrifier 3.
Dude, that's awesome. I got
it didn't work out obviously, but
I had David Howard Thornton on my podcast twice, and then I had the dude that plays the janitor from T1 on the show, and I tried to get a hold of one of the girls, but I couldn't reach them. Whatever, it's not a big deal. But I loved that stuff, and when I found out T2 was even happening, I was so like over the moon. And I mean, it exploded the way it did. I mean, look, it all happened perfectly for them. I'm so happy for them, and I'm glad I get to watch like interviews with David. Like I said, it's very bittersweet. Like there's a lot about it that I absolutely am so happy for, but there's just a couple things where I'm like kind of selfish, and I'm like, oh man, I wish this was still my little thing that I got to have. But that's a stupid way to look at it. It is what it is. I can't help that I feel that way. But
yeah, no, I get it. I mean, because like I think I would feel that way if I didn't think it was so cool, like the growth that it had.
No, it is something to admire.
Yeah, because like I went from watching Terrifier 1 on my bed, just like this 16,000 film, to like I watched it last night at Cinemark at 10:45 p.m. and the theater was almost sold out.
Really?
And, like that was just like so crazy to me.
So I was very strategic when I picked my tickets for this T3, and I picked a 5 p.m. on Thursday double feature on purpose, thinking that it would probably not be packed. And I was right. It was only like 9 or 10 people, maybe 12 people total in that room. And then I bought tickets for the next day at noon, thinking like Friday noon, it'll probably be pretty dead. And so I got to see it both times with almost nobody in the theater. I want to go back and watch it again with a full crowd.
Yeah.
I will say the first viewing, there was only like 12 people there. I think let me think. I think there was somewhere between 10 and 12 people. But at about the 30 to 40% point of T3, the people that were sitting at the top, it was like a family, like a mom, a dad, and like a I don't know, high school kid. They got up and left. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't see anyone get up and leave, just even based on the opening scene, I guess. Like everyone,
the opening scene wasn't even that bad, dude. I was a little disappointed, but I thought it was. I was disappointed by it.
I wasn't disappointed. I think that like horror movies, or honestly just any type of movie, is afraid to kill a kid, and I thought it was.
What are you talking about, man? Halloween did it. There's tons of movies where they kill kids at the beginning, like tons of them.
Yeah, but maybe not showing it in the way they did.
Yeah, like, I was only disappointed because we got this like thing where everybody was saying, like, even Damien Leone was like, oh, the first 10 minutes. So I thought, dude, if he's saying it, it's going to be crazy. And then I watched it and I was like, I guess you insinuated some crazy stuff, but I didn't see anything that was that crazy.
Yeah.
But the dad getting hacked up was pretty rad.
Yeah, I know that not everyone is afraid of killing kids, but overall,
Jeez Louise, dude, we're talking about in movies, folks, not in real life.
Of course.
People are weird. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you hear what he said? You hear what she said?"
No, like in the movies, like people, studios are afraid to do that.
Rightfully so.
For like a good portion of them. I know not everyone, because like in recent memory, like Dr. Sleep, they weren't afraid.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like rightfully so. Though they don't want to go out and do something that's insane, and like you want to respect people's feelings and stuff. I get that. I just was expecting this to be absolutely nuts, and I didn't think that it was. There was far crazier stuff in the rest of the movie, in my opinion.
It was nuts for a theatrical release, maybe.
I guess it wasn't rated, so I didn't,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I am very much desensitized, I guess, because I don't really.
Yeah.
So okay, with the movie, how did you feel about, like, just as a whole? You said you gave it 4.5 stars. What about it? Give me a few things that you didn't like first. Let's get that out of the way, because there's only a couple things I didn't like as well. It wasn't much. It was very, very little. So let's get that out of the way, and then let's talk about all the stuff we did like about the movie.
I already said I didn't love the
That's right.
sticking glass up your,
Hoo-ha.
Yes.
Yeah, masturbating with a glass shard. Probably very uncomfortable. I don't know,
Yeah.
but again, speculation here, folks. I just
Speculating. Yeah. Honestly, that was like a big one. I'm trying to see.
I'm a little surprised that bothered you at all. You seem like you wouldn't care about stuff like that.
It didn't really bother me. I was just kind of like, like I could have.
But I mean,
about it, I suppose.
I could have done without almost everything in all three of these movies, though. the whole point is to be like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. That's the whole point of all that stuff. But no, but
Yeah.
I also know you fairly well, so I do find it kind of hilarious that you're like, yeah, I could have done without it. Because I like in hindsight, now that you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, I guess you would say that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, my wife's like, I'm not watching that. Like, I don't have any desire to watch that movie. I'm not even going to ask her to watch it. She doesn't have any desire to see any of that stuff. It doesn't matter to her. She thinks it's all stupid. My best friend Josh, he thinks it's all dumb. He's like, this is ridiculous. I don't need to watch that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that was.
So was that the only thing that was really?
That was one of them. I think I'm trying to. Why am I forgetting it right now? Because it's like, I guess, for the most part, like all of the characters are very grounded and like I'm not talking about Art the Clown or anything. I'm talking about like the people characters. Like they're pretty grounded in reality, I guess.
Sure.
I thought that the like podcast queen, I was like, no one would really be that insensitive in real life, and I was like,
yeah, they would.
That's just to further the plot, which I understand.
No, they absolutely would. And that was a shout out to Scream, by the way. That was definitely Courtney Cox and David Arquette.
Really?
That was a nod to them for sure. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was this movie is made up of 4 different movies: Black Christmas, Scream, Hellraiser, and Nightmare on Elm Street. If you mix all those up and you put Art the Clown in it, you get Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
And then make it way more violent. But
I saw actually another influence from another movie that
which one?
you may or may not agree with.
The Shining?
No, I was gonna say, well, it's gonna be let me cook for a second.
Okay.
Because it lays dormant for 27 years at a time, and it kind of implied that Art the Clown was dormant for 5 years.
Oh, it didn't kind of. It I mean, you come back, she's in the same bathtub and he's covered in webs and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it very much.
Yeah,
so I don't really have an opinion on that one, honestly. I mean, if you're based on what you're saying, I would have to agree.
I'm just saying like a clown laying dormant for years.
No. Yeah, I definitely would agree with that based on that knowledge. I don't know. I've seen it like once or twice. It was okay. Second one was terrible, but
yeah, I'm not saying it's like the best or anything, but
yeah, no, I didn't know that he stayed dormant for 27 years. I'm trying to think back on that. I think I read the book once too. I have terrible memory.
Also, I saw maybe some influence from Insidious. With the dream sequence, Red Room, also the like, it was like when it's in Sienna's dream and like she's talking to her dad in the dream, and then there's like this red door, or like a door with like red lights around it, and it opens up and there's this like creepy guy in a mask, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I think doing some sort of blacksmithing.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know that was a conscious decision.
Maybe not, but I guess the way it was shot and the way like the lighting was and the noises that were being made, it reminded me of the first Insidious.
It's a good movie too.
Yeah, it was good. When you see the red demon in his like habitat in the further, like it kind of gave me a similar vibe.
That's the first like scary movie that Bricken watched, and he loves Insidious, and then he went and watched this one with me too. It's a good connection. I should tell him that. He'll probably have thoughts on that.
It's really good for a PG-13 movie, by the way. Insidious.
Yes, no, it's probably like a top, maybe that and like Poltergeist.
Well, Poltergeist is PG.
Yeah, I just meant like non-rated R.
Oh, okay, I see. But yeah, it probably should have been PG-13. Poltergeist.
I don't think PG-13 existed when it came out.
I didn't. Also, another thing that I liked that I didn't say before about the movie was the sets and the set dressing. The houses felt very lived in, which I appreciated, because sometimes you know, a character will be in a house and it's just like I can tell this is a set. But
Yeah.
there were some like creative choices with the house, like with Sienna's aunt's house, that I was like, that's really, like, I appreciate that choice. And like even like the Tiffany lamps on the aunt and uncle's nightstands. I don't know. That just
No,
something.
that's cool. That's stuff I don't recognize because we all view movies a little different, and so like that's something that I wouldn't have gotten. So now when I go back and rewatch it, I can look at it from your perspective and maybe get a little more out of the film. I think that's great.
It just looks a little. It just looks good. Like it looks.
It did look lived in. That's a great descriptive like term. It did look
Yeah.
legitimately like a home that they maybe rented from somebody that, you know, I don't know how they go about doing all that. Maybe it was a set built up. I don't think it was a set. I think it was an actual house, but
yeah, I know how much those lamps cost, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's
okay.
awesome.
I don't know. Also, I wrote for the review, Sienna's life sucks. Her life really sucks. Like I was just like joking around, like just like everyone around her is dying. I don't know. Like
no, I mean, well, yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing with a lot of these movies is like the heroine and the final girl.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that they're the final girl, so like everybody around them is just getting knocked off. So what about, let's see, what was your favorite kill scene in the movie? Because that's something everybody wants to talk about. What's the best kill scene? What's the best kill scene? I have two favorite scenes in the movie. I think one's a kill and then one's like my favorite scene in the movie, and they're different.
I guess I want to give like an honorable mention to like a post kill, which was like I said, the hospital one where Art is feeding just his head. I can tell that was just like a little animatronic they made, and that made me really happy. Because it just looked so, like, that's just like what that scene looked like as a whole. That's like my vibe. That's like what I love. Okay. So I really love that scene, just the way it looked. Like it almost looked like alien-esque. I really like
that. The whole movie is great to me. So I don't. It's hard for me to pick stuff out, but yeah, that was awesome. And I didn't even think about it being animatronic. I got to rewatch this with after we talk because I wanted. This is why I wanted to do this. I'm
like obsessed with animatronics, so I'm always like.
Yeah, you've mentioned it a few times. I didn't know you liked it that much. That's cool.
I love them. Yeah,
okay.
I love like, that's why I love like theme parks and stuff. I love like the practical effects on rides and everything.
Okay. It's all starting to make a little more sense now.
And that translates to movies too. I really, truly appreciate a good practical effects. I think it's almost always better than CGI.
I think that's the cross point for stuff like people like us. I almost don't even want to watch movies with CGI anymore. I have to because it's pretty much every movie. But like
CGI, when CGI blood was thing, I was like, oh my.
Oh, it's so stupid. That movie Ninja Assassin. And anybody that hates CGI blood knows what I'm talking about. But hey, speaking of animatronics, how'd you feel about the one in Terrifier 2?
Can you remind me? I think are you talking about like in the Terrifier like maze?
No, when she's like in her bed and she's like, "Mom," that wasn't a real person.
Yes. Yeah, so I actually watched.
I love that
on that, and it wasn't necessarily an animatronic because what they did was they had a long straw and they blew air into it to make it move. So it wasn't like hydraulics or any sort of mechanical.
Hydraulics are air, straws are air. I can make those things make sense. It's still animatronics.
It's not. Yeah. It wasn't a real person.
So it wasn't like robotic. It was like a person doing it.
It was like a set. It was like I guess like an animatronic like figure, and then like off to the side, I can't remember if it was like Damien Leone or
probably
he did one of them was like blowing into a straw to make the arm like move and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. So is that what made the mouth move too? It all just looked so much like a piece of metal moving like a robot.
It was not real. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it was really cool.
That's that's one of my favorite things about the whole movie, honestly, is that part is her. I just thought it was so cool because I knew that wasn't a person in there. And I also knew it wasn't computer generated, which I thought, well, that's fucking cool. Yeah, on Terrifier 3, I really enjoy so there's a bunch of stuff that I really like. The only part that I watched Bricken get surprised by that really I knew was coming, but I got to watch him get surprised was the kid in the mall open up the box and it blows everybody up. I saw that shit from a mile away. And I watched him get all surprised and it was awesome.
That one
I
was
love,
fun. That one was
yeah.
really fun. I really that one just like made me laugh. I don't know if that's like
No,
much.
that's, I mean, that's how I felt about it. But like, my favorite kill is obviously the dude with the chainsaw. Like, obviously, because that's like the best kill, right? But my favorite part of the whole movie is the
Mhm.
bar.
Yes, that's the one that I was gonna say was one of my favorites. That one and probably like the final
It's
scene.
my favorite part of the whole movie. I
Um,
He's all Clowny, no Clowny, and I'm
yeah,
just like, it's just so funny that because they're calling him Clowny. Clint Howard being in it was hilarious.
I was gonna say
Um,
that was a nod to his other movies. I guess.
to whose other movies?
Clint Howard, like Silent Night, right?
Oh, I don't
Was
have a
that was
clue.
he
I just think he's in all kinds of movies.
I think that he was in uh Silent Night, Deadly Night. So maybe
Probably he's. I think I may be wrong about this, but I think he's been in the most movies of anybody in the world.
that really.
Yeah, that's like his thing. Yeah, that's. I
Is he
think that's why
related
he was in it.
to
Yes, Ron
Ron?
Howard. It's his
Okay.
brother. Yeah, isn't that weird?
That family is way more connected than you could ever imagine in the
Oh
industry.
no, there's all kind. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that they're
There's all
involved with.
kinds of Howards in the industry.
Right. The part where he pees on the Santa was the funniest thing that I've seen in quite some time because his facial expressions are really great.
Yeah.
I like when he uses the nitrous oxide or whatever it is. No, not nitrous oxide.
No, it's like
Nitrogen.
yeah,
Yeah, nitrogen, liquid
Mhm.
nitrogen. Thank you. Yeah. So he uses that and like freezes him and then breaks off parts of him. That was done
Really
very,
good. It
very
looked really
well. Yeah, it looked
I was
awesome.
gonna say that was probably my favorite kill just because of the whole like freezing aspect. Also, Art the Clown's expressions and mannerisms throughout that whole scene were really fun. Um, Unfortunately, the shower scene was overhyped to me before I saw it, and so I had like that was the only thing I had heard about was the shower scene, and so I was like, okay, let's see what the shower scene is, and I was like, yeah, that's crazy, but it was. I think that the bar scene was definitely more fun.
Well,
For
yeah,
me.
more fun. The shower scene was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen in a movie. It was
Yeah,
nuts, man. It was crazy. Like I like whenever he broke in and first and hits old buddy's hand, and it cuts it
yeah,
off like this way, and you can see
yeah.
like inside of his hand. And I don't know, it looked so brutal. Like it was brutal. And old girls that sitting there, and right when she's in the room talking to that boy, and she's like, I just want to see like what's it like to be close to that kind of evil? I want to like look into his eyes. I was like, oh boy, she's about to die. I was like, oh,
I
that's
know. I was like, she's about to die a miserable death for
yeah.
sure.
I hated that girl. I'm glad she got murdered in that movie.
I know. I was like excited for that part.
But I like that the dude was the guy that like the voice of reason. But I'm telling you, man, that was Courtney Cox and David Arquette because that's exactly how those characters act and Scream. And she's the reporter type, and he's the guy that's
I
like trying
guess
to
that's
calm her down.
true because like he was more sympathetic.
Dude, it's exactly what that was.
Like
It
Dewey.
pulled straight from Scream, in a good way. Like something I appreciate about it. You know,
Yeah.
I like that old Tom Savini shows up for a minute. I thought that was pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And was that the WWE guy?
no,
Or
you don't know who Tom Savini is?
I do, but fuck, I can't remember.
He's the guy in the mall, the little tiny guy. He was in. I mean, he's a makeup artist.
What? Hold on, I need to look this up because I'm like really bad with names and faces, but like I usually recognize everyone, so I'm like getting my names mixed up. How do you spell his last name?
Savini. I think. I mean, you're quite a bit younger than me, so I mean, like he's from a generation before me. So, but he's like in horror. He's Rick Baker, Tom Savini. Those are the guys that you look up to for practical effects and
Yeah,
gore.
yeah.
Yeah, Tom Savini's the shit, man. When he came on, literally, I was the only person in the whole theater that clapped. I was like, oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
shit, I'm a weirdo.
I do know that guy. I'm bad with.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I liked yeah, the whole movie's great. I like the pacing of the movie. I thought that it was paced incredibly well. I thought that the characters were more realistic. I thought that Art was meaner than he's ever been. I thought that Sienna got another dimension that we hadn't had before, and I really liked that about her. I liked
would
that she
agree.
became the one that was all fucking frazzled and couldn't keep her shit together. I liked that Jonathan was the one that was like, dude, stop. But I also, people keep saying like, oh, he was grounded and he didn't have no problems. I'm like, no. He was masking everything. Go watch the movie. In his room, he's taking the medicine like she is. He's freaking out like she is. It's all a cover up. He's freaking out too. I mean, hell, he even asks, "Are you think he's coming back later on in the movie?" People don't pay attention. But
and also the letters that he was.
yeah. I think he was getting pressure from outside sources to like. I think he didn't like the attention he was getting, so he tried to act like none of it happened. And I get that. I understand that. But like, dude, you were dealt the hand you're dealt. It is what it is.
He was trying to just fit in and
right. He was tired of living that life. I get that 100%.
Yeah.
I thought that. Okay. Her aunt, whenever she's in the room, she's tied up, and then Sienna's tied up, and they pull that thing off and go, haha, it's the girl. Did you not go, whatever, dude? I knew that wasn't the girl.
I knew it wasn't her.
I knew it was Jonathan.
I have something to say about that.
What?
His death. Okay, here's the thing about me. I never trust an off-screen death. I never do. And we did not see him die on screen. And that's just a skeleton that's been eaten by rats. So we really don't know who it is. And I feel like Jonathan's probably down wherever Sienna's niece or cousin is, whatever.
Well, hopefully you're right, and I get to go, damn, you called it. But I think that was Jonathan. I think that he's probably got other things he's doing right now and isn't going to be in the movies in the future.
Maybe.
The movie's not about him. The movie's about Sienna.
Just every time, I feel like every time I watch something and there's an off-screen death or we do not physically see them die on screen, they come back somehow. So I'm just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cheap thing from a lot of movies and a lot of franchises. I just don't think Damien Leone is that kind of guy. I think I can trust when he says, this character's gone, that we can typically trust that. Typically.
But don't you feel like after all these years, he would have given that actor the justice of like having a brutal death?
If he wanted it, maybe he didn't want it.
I don't know, maybe.
That kid's young, man. That kid's very young. He's a young dude. Like that guy, I've been watching him since he was like 10 years old, do like punk band interviews and stuff. When he popped up in T2, it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, I know that kid. It was weird, not personally.
Yeah.
Of course,
So I mean, I might be wrong, but I just.
No, you very well might be right though.
I want to see where that goes because he might end up being in that. In hell.
If he's in the next one, I'm going to be very pissed off. I'm going to be very, very disappointed in that. He shouldn't be in it anymore.
I'll be surprised if he is.
No, I didn't say surprised. I said disappointed.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me in these movies. But that part, did you hear about David Howard Thornton? He said that when they did the scene where they shoved the pipe down that lady's throat and it fed the rats, that he almost puked. He was like, I can hardly watch it.
That's the scene he was talking about, but I saw a headline about it and I just skipped past it because I was trying to avoid anything about it.
Spoilers and stuff, yeah. It's. I mean, this is a brutal movie, man. I thought that it was, dude. Everything about it was better than the second movie, though. The second movie, it has to happen. It has to exist the way that it exists. I wouldn't change anything about it. But I think the third one's a better film. It's shorter. It's paced better. It's more violent. Art the Clown is nasty, dude. They got rid of that dumbass, stupid pale girl and gave us Vicky, which is a very, very good character. I wish she was around still, but
I was really no hate to that little girl or anything, but I was really hoping she wasn't gonna pop back up.
I didn't think she could because she would have been too different looking, and they had to get a different girl, and it would have been hard to do that.
But like Vicky was much better.
Dude, Vicky might have kind of stole the show, to be honest.
Yeah, no, she was awesome.
She was nasty. Like, I don't mean like gross. I mean like mean, man.
Yeah, she was brutal.
Woo. Dude, what about whenever he was walking by and smacking Sienna? Did that not make you feel some kind of way? That is the part that I thought was like a little bit much. I was like, damn, I don't think you need to smack her.
I was kind of like scoffing. I was like, seriously, like, damn.
Yeah, but I liked it. Like, I appreciate that they did it because it makes they did something for everybody to be like, ugh. Everybody has at least like, dude, look, that kill in the shower. People say whatever they want. There was no way that was anything other than amazing. Like, and it was so funny when they cut him up from the butthole, right? And you're like, oh man. And then Bricken's in here. I was like, what was that noise? Dude, and then I was like, in my head, I was like, man, it'd have been so funny if they'd cut that dude's wiener off. And then he goes, flip flop, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna cut his wiener off. I was like, oh. And it's just like flopping around. I was laughing so hard, bro. That shit was so funny to me.
I knew that had to come up because like I just felt like if they were gonna up the ante, that was gonna be something
Right.
that they had to show.
You want to hear Bricken's thoughts for a second?
Yeah.
Dude, hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Hey, speak to me real quick, Kennah.
Hello.
Okay, cool. Bricken, you can hear her?
Yeah, I can
All
hear
right,
it.
come here, dude. You want to say hi?
Hello.
So, how do you feel? Now we can talk a little bit of spoilers. Don't take up a ton of time or anything. I need you to hang out with Parker. But so, how did you feel about it? What was your favorite kill? Do you have a favorite part of the movie?
My favorite part of the movie was probably when Art peed on fake Santa Claus.
That one's pretty good.
Do you have a favorite kill?
No, that one in the shower was good though.
What you think? The mall thing surprised you, huh? With the kid in the present.
That one.
Here, speak towards the mic.
That one was the most surprising.
Yeah. Did you have anything about it that disappointed you?
No, I can't really think of anything I really didn't like about it.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question. Kennah and I might disagree on whether or not we think that Jonathan is actually dead. Do you think that was actually him in that little birdcage thing, or do you think it might have been a what do they call it, red herring?
Mm-hmm.
I hope it was Jonathan because I feel like that would just be better writing.
Dude, yeah. This kid's better at this than me.
Yeah, I feel like it would be better writing if he's actually dead, but I feel like it would have been even better writing if we saw how he died. Like,
yeah, I think that's definitely a very valid point. I think that had he pushed for it, he probably would have gotten it. I am curious as to whether or not he wanted to be brutally murdered on screen because he is young and maybe his mom was like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to be around that. I don't want because I can tell you right now, if I got killed on screen like that, my mom ain't watching that. My wife ain't watching it. He probably ain't watching it. So yeah.
It's always something I've thought about too. Like the families of people who get brutally murdered on screen. Like, does that mess them up?
Right. Especially something like this with a movie that's so just known for like brutalitarianism. I know that's not a word, but
that point I just brought up, I think that was the other nitpick that I had that I couldn't think of.
Which one?
Like why I gave it 4.5 rather than 5 stars. I think that was another thing that I just don't like in anything is if he's truly dead, I need to see it on screen.
You're a sick individual, Kennah.
But I know I might be alone in that. So
she's like,
yeah.
This movie is the most gory movie out of all the Terrifier movies, but this one kid died off screen, and I don't like that. I want more.
Yeah.
Well, because
he gets it.
The problem is that if he really is supposed to be dead, I don't know, because it's like that's like a thing that movies and TV shows do. If they die off screen, come back. That's just like a thing that
it is. Yeah, I just think Damien Leone is not that kind of guy, but I could be wrong. I might be. Who knows?
And that's just like a personal thing I have.
Did the thing with Gabby or whatever.
Which one? With the girl? Where she wasn't actually the one that was dead. Exactly what you're saying happened is what they did. Hey, she's dead. Oops, no, she's not. So
I already knew that was coming because like
I wasn't surprised when that happened.
They show a skull without who it actually is. I'm like,
yeah, I was like, that's not her at all.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing real quick, Bubba. What do you rate this movie on? I guess a scale of like 5 stars. Like you can do up half stars and stuff if you want.
Nothing's perfect, but I also really want to say 5 stars.
Let's go. It's subjective. You can say 5 stars.
I think 5 stars.
My man. Yeah. Thank you for your input, sir. I appreciate it. Heck yeah. Pedro, would you hang out Parker for a little bit?
Yep.
All right, man. I love you, pal.
Being chill right now, just.
Okay. Cool. Back to the program. Thank you, Kennah, for
regularly scheduled program.
Right. Here, Pedro, go take him out the room for me. You can close the door.
Pedro P.
Come on. Go, Bubba.
Pedro. Okay.
It's all right. Just close the door for me. I'll let him stay here for a little bit. It's fine. I'll get back to work. All right. Thank you for indulging. That's my guy, man. This is like the one thing that we have like this connection on. I don't even know how it happened. I guess because he's been around it his whole life. The other two, Parker like wants to go watch scary movies, but he doesn't really watch them. Charlie doesn't like them at all. So Bricken's, it's really fun to be able to spend this time with him, and he's very, very, very mature for his age.
I can tell. Because like even at that age, I was still, or actually I don't know how old he is, but I was.
He's 11.
Okay, I was scared of stuff for a while. Like I watched my first scary movie. Well, I watched Poltergeist when I was a kid, but like my mom made me close my eyes for some of parts.
Oh, really?
Only the one part because she knew I wouldn't like it when he like peels his face off in the mirror.
Yeah.
So she made me close my eyes for that part. But besides that, the first scary movie I ever saw was in 7th grade, and it was Insidious.
Man, I am so old.
Yeah.
I was a
Or I
full
might be
grown
getting
man when
the
that came out.
I might be getting the year wrong, but whenever Insidious came out, that was the first one
Oh, dude, I was like 30 when that movie came out.
I don't even know what year it came out actually, but
I think it was 2013. I might be wrong.
then yeah, I would have been 7th grade. That's crazy.
Let's
That's
see.
crazy.
Insidious. Okay, so 2010. 2010. So
Okay, I guess I was younger than I thought.
it's all right. I get stuff like that mixed up all the time. Okay, so my notes are all about one subject on this movie. So I'm going to bring them up and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Terrifier has Art the Clown has a lot in common with one horror icon that I can think of. I assume you know who I'm talking about.
And I would agree with it.
Freddy Krueger?
Yeah.
Okay. So is Terrifier this generation's Nightmare on Elm Street? Because I kind of think it is, man. And
I don't
I'll
think
explain
it
why in a
started
second.
out that way. Do you? I don't think it started
Out that way? No, but Nightmare on Elm Street didn't start out the way that it became either. And the reason it parallels it in a lot of ways. The first movie was a very big risk. They didn't know what they were necessarily doing or planning on doing in multiples. It wasn't planned on a franchise. You have this supernatural character that ultimately becomes very, very funny. That wasn't very, very funny when he first came around. Like I said, they're both supernatural. The second movie is also the weird one in both franchises. Then it comes back to form in the third movie. The third movie on Nightmare on Elm Street has that Dawkins song. I can't remember what the song was, but then the Terrifier 3 has Ice Nine Kills doing some stuff. It's wild, man. It's wild the amount of things that are parallel. Now I don't think it was intentional, but I do think that Terrifier has become this generation's, because when Freddy Krueger came out, that dude blew people's minds, and he was violent and he was scary. And I just think it's really cool to, like, again, I don't think it was intentional by Damien and crew to, like, let's go and mimic Nightmare on Elm Street, but there's so many things that do mimic it. I think that's like my one that I grew up liking a lot was Nightmare, so maybe that's why I like this so much.
And if I'm not mistaken, the first Nightmare on Elm Street was really low budget as well.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember that. And I mean, there is sort of a parallel with the dream sequences too.
Right.
In Terrifier 2, that wasn't a thing in the first one, but I don't really think they exactly knew where they were going with it at first.
Yeah, and this is just like, fan fiction, if you will, of me over here dreaming that these are connected somehow. They're not. But like even in the, like, I'm looking at a Terrifier, I guess not Terrifier, Art the Clown action figure right here in front of me, right? It's a 1/6 scale, like Sam Hain edition thing. It's in a box, right? When I glance over at it, everything about the way he's standing, his face, the shape of his face, his nose, it looks like Robert Englund in Nightmare on Elm Street to me. It's just white instead of burned. And so I love Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's just one of those things where it's not real, but I sure wish it was. Okay, what are some of the other notes that you had on like I guess like fun facts and such? Yeah.
Okay. Also, real quick, I did want to say that something that really stood out to me with the third one was like how good all the acting was.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Because like Sienna was really good in Terrifier 2, but like I saw like a huge jump in her skill set, and that might have come with confidence and time. But like I've known who she was for a minute because she was in I don't know if you know the comedian Shane Gillis.
Yeah,
she was in his sketches.
Yeah, so I actually knew about that too.
Yeah,
and I watched Terrifier 2 probably 3 times before I realized it was the same person.
Really?
Well, because I didn't know her name from the sketches.
Yeah,
I just knew her face. But like all my friends think that she looks kind of like my wife. Not the same, but like she kind of has a similar nose, brown hair, same height, same shape of body. And so when I was like, oh, that girl's hot, all my friends were like, yeah, dude, no shit. You're like married to a woman that looks like her. And I thought it was cool because in Terrifier 3, she gets given this room and like by her like little cousin or whatever. And she's like, yeah, we decorated it all up with like dragons and wizards. If you guys understood the amount of dragons that my wife has, it's oh, dude. And she has a fucking cloak that she wears around the house. She is exactly like that character. It is
That is so funny.
it's adorable, man. Like I got my own little final girl at the house. It's fucking awesome, dude. My wife's amazing.
That's
Yeah, dude, she's really helped me a lot in the last few weeks, so I shout her out a lot right now.
That's really funny that there's like so many.
Isn't it weird, dude? There's like so many
That's
weird
weird.
little coincidences.
Yeah. Also, one thing I do want to say that, well, I guess about why I think that she put on a better performance in this movie. I think part of it is because one of the things I found out was that on Terrifier 1 and 2, there was about only 5 to 10 crew members at a time on set throughout
Dude.
the whole thing. That's why Terrifier 2 took 6 years to make.
I think we watched a lot of the same interviews.
Yeah.
With Damien, yeah.
Probably. But for Terrifier 3, they had around 50 per day. And also
That's so awesome.
Damien, I know, and Damien wasn't doing everything like he
Right.
he was before. So I think he had a lot of time to give her like clear, good direction on where he wanted the character to go. Because before that, he was doing like all of the special effects too, and for this movie he wasn't. So I think that probably cleared up a lot of time on his schedule to like maybe give a clearer focus on what he wanted her to act like. And I could just tell it was a lot more like sharp and like clean with all the characters.
That's a really great description of it, sharp and clean. And I appreciate your recognition of that being a thing, because he definitely talks about that a couple of times in different interviews. And because I was like immersing myself with this stuff, and I don't typically do that. I don't watch a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I don't watch a lot of interviews unless it's something I really love, which obviously that's what this would be. But like me and Bricken, the whole day before we were watching the double feature, we listened to probably 2.5 to 3 hours worth of like Damien Leone interviews, because I don't know much about him. I know a lot about David Howard Thornton because I've talked to him a bunch, but I don't know a lot about Damien. I didn't know he was that New York either, man. He sounds like,
oh yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Jersey, actually, because I know that 1 and 2 was filmed.
Okay, well, East Coast, whatever. He sounds like but like, yeah, I like that you recognized that her acting had stepped up and that you didn't just give it all to her, because I think it's like 80% her, but there's like a 20% of that belongs to the director, and I think that needs to be, talked about.
Because like giving direction is like about how a character is supposed to be is super important, and like yes, it's that actor's job to like create that character, like how this person would talk based on the writing and everything.
Right.
But I think that looking at the second one versus the third one, the second one, she seemed a little bit more lost in like who Sienna was supposed to be, and this one seemed more honed in. And even if you watch the stuff that she was in with Shane Gillis, like her acting, like I feel like she really shined in those versus Terrifier 2, because I felt like her performance was a little bit duller, and I was like, I didn't know what the kind of actress that she was.
I do have some thoughts on that, and maybe you can respond to this. I won't say question, but I guess just thought.
Yeah,
I feel like it wasn't even her acting necessarily in 2. It was more like the writing. I don't think that he knew. I don't think he knew where he was taking that character, and I think that he got some really great ideas in the process.
Yeah.
And later on was able to just make a giant leap in not only her acting, but with the writing, the story. Because think about it like this: the story in T2 is cool. It's not as like put together. Dude, we got 22 minutes less movie, and we got like 3x the story.
Yeah, and I mean partial. Like that's partially due to the budget, and also just
the budget helps.
The team that they were able to have this time around. And you're right. I mean, a character and an actor can only be as good as the script and the director. And I think that because everyone was running around a little bit too much in Terrifier 2, like it was hard to give your best performance as to what this character is supposed to be. Also, I can imagine that in the second one, it's like she's just this girl that they decided to, focus on.
Right. I mean, it could have ended up being like an anthology type movie series where every movie's got different people that are getting knocked off or whatever, right? And I think they maybe just like kind of winged it a little bit. I mean, I know a lot about Terrifier 2. We're not here to talk about that movie necessarily, but like,
I guess I'm just comparing things.
No. I just meant like I didn't want to go off on like some long spiel about it. Is what I was saying. Not you can say whatever you want. I just didn't want to like start talking about it and me start going off on this big rant. But okay, sorry. Continue with your fun facts. I'm terrible at hosting.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is so fun, but like something that I like to look at between 1, 2, and 3 is the budget, and how much it's grown. So 1 was $16K. 2 was $200K. This one, the budget was $2 million, which you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
It helped a lot.
Still a small budget if you think of it.
It's still small, but like,
I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's still a small budget for a film.
In comparison to the first 2, it's huge. And I remember opening weekend or whatever, like the amount of money that Terrifier 2 made was like around $2 million. So I'm sure that they just took a lot of what they earned last time and put it towards this because they're not using any other studios. Like, no, they didn't want anyone else to finance.
Well, that's my favorite thing about this whole entire franchise is that you know me, I'm a punk rock guy, and I have my own record label. I got my own little store, and I look at this and I go, hey, if this dude can do that and David Howard Thornton can do that, why can't I? And I know that may seem crazy, but it's probably seemed crazy when they said they were going to do it.
I mean, it's inspiring.
Very much.
So opening weekend, Terrifier 3 made $14.1 million in US and Canada.
Okay.
And then worldwide so far it's made almost 19 million, which is crazy to me.
It smashed Joker. Joker was only like 9 days in.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Well, I mean that's impressive, dude. Just the fact that you have a movie about the character Joker and it has Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, just on those 3 things alone, you would think that it would just smash any kind of horror movie, any of them. Halloween, and Terrifier comes out and just takes a dump on it. Now it was it's not a good movie and it's not a lot else going on right now. But facts are still facts, dude. This movie doesn't really have any business at all eclipsing Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. It's amazing. I'm so happy for it.
If you compare like growth, so like budget was 2 million, opening weekend in US and Canada was 14.1 million, and then like Joker, that was 200 million budget, and then opening weekend was 37 million. Like, just the difference is like pretty insane.
Dude, if this gets some kind of weird award, I'm gonna lose my shit, dude. If it gets some like actual like prestigious award, dude. Hey, in all fairness, they should get some kind of award for their effects.
Oh, which Terrifier?
Yeah. Terrifier should get some kind of recognition. I don't know that I want it to, but they deserve it.
I think they should, just because like since I've watched all the behind the scenes, I've watched all the interviews, I feel very like, not to be parasocial, but like connected to them. And so like I want the best for them, I guess.
I want the best for them. I'm just a stingy old curmudgeonly shit, so I'm like,
I know, and I think I'm a little like, I love sharing, so I'm a little bit more open to that. And I know that you're not.
It's not even that I'm not into sharing. It's just with certain things, I feel like I never had anything that was mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it is a weird dynamic though. Like, I do feel like it's pretty dumb. Like, I can acknowledge that. I just can't change it. It is what it is.
So I guess like I already said that Damien turned down multiple big studios that offered to finance because he was afraid that they weren't going to let him do what he wanted to, even based on the opening scene. Which, I mean, we've both said that it's not like the craziest opening scene.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't super shocked by it, to be honest.
This one was kind of like a stupid fun fact, but this is the first horror movie since Saw 3 to receive an 18 rating in France. Like, most things are...
Yeah, it's been like almost 20 years since they did that. Like, and it wasn't even like an 18 with parent. It was like you had to be 18 to go into it.
Yeah. Also, Phil Falcone, the executive producer, he was the bus driver at the end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dude, how much does Phil Falcone sound like a character from Batman?
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, Falcone.
Oh, that is the name of Batman, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would explain that then. JK, people, I am not that dumb. I am that dumb sometimes.
I was like, yeah, I mean, that is a name.
You're like, yeah, Randall, stupid. Stupid.
And according to USA Today, this movie was the top 10 highest anticipated horror film of 2024.
That doesn't surprise me. There wasn't much
Yeah.
coming out this year.
Yeah.
Although,
A few, but not that much.
Long Legs
Mhm.
and I never got to see Cuckoo.
That one was good.
Is it good? I wanted to watch that one really bad. Substance was really good, but I don't know if you can call that necessarily a horror movie. It kind of was.
I would
Body
love to
horror.
cover that one, by the way. I love that movie so much.
We
It's
can
like
talk
more
about
body
it.
horror. It's not really scary, but
I mean, I don't think much horror is scary personally.
me
So
either.
but like, we can talk about the substance if you want, but we have to talk about that person's other film as well.
Revenge.
Yeah, we can just cover that director if you want,
Yeah.
because I just watched Revenge recently too.
I need to watch that one because ever since seeing The Substance, I'm really interested in.
That's the first horror movie my wife ever watched. Revenge ever.
Oh,
Yeah, I know I got a lot of weird little connections to these movies to make them important to me, but
yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that I like to do. I like to have like little personal attachments to things for specific reasons, and then they help me remember, interesting points in my life or people in my life or stuff like that. But
I do that too. I have a bunch of little connections to things as well. That's why I feel so connected to these movies or this movie that we're talking about now, Terrifier.
well, let's wrap up T3 talk. We've hit almost an hour. And what do you want to do next? You want to do that director that did The Substance and Revenge?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, okay. Real quick before we go, what are your final thoughts on Terrifier 3?
Best one of the franchise. Also, real quick, another little tidbit was the Ninth Circle Easter egg in the bus. She was
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that's how
Yeah.
Art the Clown kind of came about. That was supposed to be a short film, or it was a short film.
Yeah.
He was very different back then. The character, both his look and his lore, were
Different
quite
actor.
different. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Different actor. I think this is far and away the best.
Also, the shower scene got leaked. I don't know if you know.
Oh, really?
That. It got leaked
I don't
like
pay
a
attention to that
couple
kind of
weeks
stuff.
before.
That sucks.
I didn't watch it, but that sucks.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That is ass right there. That's terrible. Yeah, I mean, I think my thoughts are well documented. This is far and away my favorite one, and I didn't think Terrifier 1 would get touched. To be honest with you, this movie was fucking rad.
It was really good. I thought that it was super. Like, I just kept being like, "This is a real movie." Like
Dude, it was awesome.
this
Yeah,
is,
it
like,
felt different, didn't it?
Like, even honestly, Terrifier 3 could be a standalone film.
I think so. I think so too.
Honestly.
And I think that's what Sony was trying to do. I think it was Sony. One of them was trying to buy it and re-edit it and redistribute it under just the name Terrifier, which is fucking crazy.
I can imagine it. Yeah, I was just like super impressed by it. The practical effects were great as always. I kind of knew that they were going to involve killing kids to like
that was obvious though with the first teaser
it's like
trailer.
they hadn't done it before, and like, how do you go farther than what you've done? You kid on screen, and that's what they did. And we already knew that was going to happen based on like the teaser, like you said, because they teased the opening.
Right, with Santa Claus thing.
Yeah. So you can only imagine what was going to happen from that. Thought the acting was really good. Even like the not extras, but like the background characters were really
good. The music in it was good too. The whole movie was better. It was just all around better. The production was better. The acting was better. The guest stars were in there that were really cool. It wasn't just Chris Jericho. It was awesome.
Yeah, and the sets, like I said, were really well.
Yeah, the only thing that I saw that I knew was a set was that department store. Everything else I wasn't sure.
Yeah, like, are you talking about the mall?
Yeah, the mall.
Yeah, I think the way that was set up was really intentional too, in my opinion. Like with the white mannequins.
Oh, for sure.
That was super intentional. Yeah, that definitely did look like a set, but I'm talking about like the dorms, the house, the rooms, like those all looked pretty accurate to me.
Yeah, I don't know that those were sets though, but yeah.
I mean, like whatever they used, like I could have. They honestly could have just.
Well, I think that's why they look so good though, is because they weren't sets; they were places where people lived, or at least were,
Well,
activity.
I applaud that because it helped it with the realism.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yep.
Yeah. What's that lady's name that we're gonna talk about next time? I got to get out of here for something real quick. I totally forgot that I have to do.
It's like Caroline, maybe.
Let's see.
She's French, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, I didn't mean to like rush you out here. I apologize. It's my
Oh no,
fault.
it's okay.
Coralie Fargay. I don't know if that's spelled. I don't know if I said that right. Coralie Fargate, maybe Fargeat.
We'll figure it out.
Anyways, we'll talk about it next couple of weeks here. We're gonna do The Substance and Revenge. Talk about
Everyone
that.
watch The Substance. It's really good.
It's so good. But
so
Terrifier 3.
And watch Terrifier 3.
Yeah, dude, definitely go watch that one. Buy a ticket, don't go watch it. I don't give a shit, but buy a ticket.
Yeah.
No, go watch it.
I have a ticket right here. I'm gonna save it.
Dude, I have mine too. Let's go.
Because I save all my tickets that are printable.
I don't save all of mine, but I save all the ones that are like important to me personally. And this would be, let's see, do I have it in my wallet?
I keep it.
Yeah, dude, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I keep them in my memory box. All my
awesome.
tickets and like shows I've gone to and stuff.
That's rad. All right, I got to run to the post office before they close my bitch ass out. So I'll text you in a little bit, and I'll send me a little selfie so I can make a thumbnail.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. Throw us some ideas. I want to commend you, Kennah, on a much improved talk today. It was awesome, man. I had a really great time. I appreciate.
Yeah, I'm getting better
sleep
now, so that definitely helps.
I just appreciate the effort, man. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Guess I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks then.
For sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's go up to 7,500 and 10K. Come on, man. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody. Later. Peace.
Later.